Hey, what's going on? In this video we're going to be talking about progress. Now, I made a zillion videos for this series, so I feel like that's progress for me. But progress is interesting material UI. There's a couple ways we could represent it. I think there's three main ways if I remember right. Although you could do customization on your own. You could do it, they're going to give you these looping circles, these loading lines that we've seen variations of across the internet. And then there's one where you click a button and then colors and stuff change. So first, before we go into progress and I show you the circular progress almost icon animations they have, is that there's two distinctions. There's determinate and indeterminate. Indeterminate means, hey, I'm just going to keep looping and looping and looping because I don't know how long something's going to take. Maybe you're waiting on a callback from an API and you just don't know how long the process is going to take. And then there's also determinate one. So that's when you have information about a process that's already started, and then you could thereafter start filling in how much done are you in a process. So a lot of words. Let's get to action here. We have circular progress for our first section up here. And let's come in here and let's type this out. We have circular progress, and it's this easy. We pop it in, and then we see this right here. So what if we wanted to do something like change the color? We could definitely do that. Let's see what some of our options are. We have primary, secondary, and then inherit. Let's do secondary because I kind of like that a little bit better. And now we have this here. Also with make styles, you could just inject color into here, or with the create MUI theme. This is another styling object I'm going to be doing a tutorial on. Actually making it right after this. And you'll be able to change the base color of all the circular progresses if you wanted to. So this is one way to do it here. But if you wanted to prevent it from just moving like this over and over again, and you wanted a bit more control, we could do something like this. We could have variance in here. And so we have determinate, then we also have static. So let's try static for this. So we see that nothing is there. Okay, that's kind of shocking. Did I type something wrong? What am I doing? Should I just give up? No. Let's go in and type in value. And let's type in, well, we could assume this is probably 0, so let's do this at 10. Okay, that's what 10 looks like. What about 11? Okay, a little bit more, can't really notice. What's 50% look like? We see here that it starts in a clockwise motion starting at midnight right here, and it moves clockwise all the way around. So when we come down here, we could have the value be right there. Now, likewise, we could also do something, and this is one of the ways you most likely would do. You can make something called progress, set progress. We're going to set this at, let's just do 70 right here. And we could see that we could have some kind of state management going on behind the scenes, which is really quite nice. And if you wanted to, you could use the use effect or whatever variation you want to update the state here. So rather than have it be this indeterminate loop moving over and over and over again, you could have a bit more control over it. And this is kind of, right now, the basics of progress. Some key differences between determinate and indeterminate. You could change the color. You could directly control the value. So now let's move on to a bit more complicated stuff. By complicated, just more variance, right? More things to keep track of. So in this section, we're going to be looking at progress. We've already looked at progress, but let's do something with linear progress. Before it was just circles. We could put things inside those circles. We could choose at what point clockwise they're going to be, spinning. So if we give it a value of 0, nothing's there. 100, it's a full circle. So I already have everything imported at the top, so let's go. It's as easy as typing in linear progress here. And we can see at the top, hey, it's already doing that for us. So it's an indeterminate state, so that's kind of showing the user, hey, something's going on. We're trying to talk between maybe your website and the API or database or whatever it may be. We don't know what's going on, but we're letting you know that it's quote-unquote thinking, as a lot of people will say. So if we were to go ahead and move on here, we could do other things with linear progress, just like, color. Just like the regular progress, we could change the colors. We could customize them here. We can make it secondary. I like this color a little bit better. I think it pops a bit more. But let's come up here to the style, and let's try to kind of wiggle this in a little bit, because it's kind of tough when it's jammed all the way at the top of the browser. So let's kind of bring it down a little bit, just arbitrarily. I would recommend doing this in like your production code or real code, but for a tutorial, I think this is good enough. So now that we move that down a little bit, give it some breathing room here, what are some of the other things you could do? Well, we could add a variant in here. Sweet. So let's make a determinant. So now we have this is determined, and its default state is completely false. Whatever action may have taken place, according to this, would be complete. But we could change that by giving it a value. So let's set the value to progress, and we'll show you that it's only 30%. So that's what that 30 stands for. That's what it translates roughly into. If it was value of 20 higher, the line would be like half fully filled out. So let's give it a value buffer too, because this is also very interesting. So rather than, let me straighten this up here. So rather than just simply saying, hey, let's see how much of this line is filled, there could be a buffer like you have on YouTube or other streaming services. And this is kind of neat. I haven't used one personally, but I do like the fact that they give this to you out of the box here. So this could be how much your website has already buffered the information coming on in. Essentially, how much information and data has already been processed. Let me set the use state up here. And slap this bad boy on in here. Okay, let's give this a value finally. And what did I do wrong here? Let me check for a moment. Ah, that's it right there. I have to change it to buffer. So remember, change your buffer from determinant or whatever it is to buffer, so it would read this all in. We could see here that we have this nice, awesome built-in animation they're giving us that shows that it's buffering. And so as you're making your calls, most likely using a use effect or whatever means it may be, you could also keep track of where the user at is in the progress of the video or the content, but you could also keep track simultaneously of how much information you've loaded in from a stream, the API, like wherever it may be, which is pretty cool. And as you can see up here, though I'm just using use state kind of statically hard coding fixing it, to update this asynchronously would not be that hard at all, but this is linear progress just to get you started. Hope you like it.